This meeting of the human and animal worlds sparked a legacy of storytelling that has shaped our relationship with animals and conservation forever. Today, we invite you to become a part of that legacy as our own Disney artists help you learn to sketch characters inspired by the very animals found here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Get your pencils ready, because here comes our animation artist now.
I'm Jumbo, everybody! Good morning! How's everybody doing today? All right, good morning. My name's Don. I'm going to be your artist here today, and we are going to be drawing Simba from The Lion King. Now, before we get started, a couple things we need to go over, make sure we have our checklist. Does everybody have a pencil? Awesome. Does everybody have a piece of paper with a circle and a whole bunch of guidelines on it? Yes. Awesome. Does everybody have a clipboard? Yes. Great. Okay. Now, you may notice on your pencil there's an eraser. You can use it, but I can guarantee you one thing: if you do, you're not going to finish your drawing. So, up to you. Use your eraser, make your lines look whatever, or you can actually have a finished drawing that's going to look pretty darn good on its own without using the eraser. Your choice, but we're going to give it to you. So, now, like I said, we're going to be drawing Simba here this morning, and as much as I would love to bring in an actual lion cub, we're not going to do that. No. But we are going to do what Jon Favreau and the film crew did for the new Lion King movie. They sent film crews out here to Disney's Animal Kingdom and took some really amazing video of the lions that you can find on Kilimanjaro Safari. So would you like to meet those lions? All right, well, let's meet our inspiration for Simba. Let's say hi to Dakari.
Meet Dakari, an African lion. He may not look too busy if you come to visit him during the heat of the day. Being a carnivore, he is doing just what he needs to do. His strategy? It may be similar to some teenagers you know, laying down and resting to conserve energy. Lions can sleep up to 20 hours a day. Dakari has this down to an art form. With his schedule, Lion turns out to be a perfect name. Dakari likes to lie on grass, lie on rocks, lie in a shady spot. Dakari seems to get comfortable anywhere. In the wild, food is hard to come by. Not that a male lion would know. The lionesses typically do the hunting and all the caregiving for the family. With all that the females do for the pride, you may be asking, what exactly does this leave for the males to do? Oh yeah, there's that. And more of that. Declaring themselves the protector with a roar heard for miles, Dakari will usually instigate all the noise. Soon after, Kamari and Kinsey will join in, bonding the pride together. His keepers say Dakari's roar is distinctive and purposeful. What is made clear to all? He is the defender of his territory and his family. Lions in the wild are struggling due to conflict with people over resources and loss of habitat. The Disney Conservation Fund has supported lion conservation for over 20 years, helping organizations find solutions that benefit people, lions, and their habitats across 8 countries. Come visit Dakari on the Kilimanjaro Safaris to see him in action or not in action. Learn more about lions and how you can help. Now that is something to roar about.
Pretty cool? All right. Well, now that we've had a chance to meet our lion, let's go ahead and draw our lion. And one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to draw his eyes, because eyes are so important to characters. They're full of emotion and expression, and we're going to be drawing a young Simba, you know, the one voiced by Jonathan Taylor Thomas. So we're going to give him those nice, big, expressive eyes. And they're going to start on our piece of paper right between those two center guidelines, the little short ones that don't go all the way to the edge of our circle. They're going to sit right here near the edge of that top guideline. So if you want, you can add a very light line coming down. And we're going to draw a nice big circle that's going to fit right in that spot. And if anyone happens to have a nickel on them, it's exactly the size of a US nickel. So nice and light. And that's going to be one eye. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Nice big circle fitting between those two guidelines. So now we've got his eye. We're going to start to set up the mask that goes around his eye, kind of a color separation. And to do that, I'm just going to start here, the edge of the eye closest to the center of our circle. I'm going to add a little curve, kind of like a little water slide, as it swings down toward the guideline there. Go wee. Do the same thing over here. Now what you can do is check the negative space between the center of your circle and the bottom of that water slide on each side. Make sure they're about the same. If you need to adjust it, go right ahead. Nice and light. Now to create his mask, we're going to draw a really big arch. And this arch is going to start here at the end of that water slide, which is eventually going to be his tear duct. And it's going to curve up toward that guideline above his eyes and eventually end up right here near the edge of our circle. So if you want, you can put a little mark just inside the edge of the circle on each side. So we're going to swing it up, create this nice big arch. Almost looks like half of the logo of a very famous fast food franchise. Exactly. Do the same thing over here. Nice big arch swinging on up. And one of the fun things about drawing these characters, they don't have to be exactly the same. One eyebrow is a little bigger than the other. That's fine. Just adds nice little expression to your character. So don't worry about making it perfect. Just keep it nice and light as we start out. So now that we have his eyes, we've got the mask, let's go ahead and give him a nose, because noses are kind of important. I recently read this awesome study that says breathing is very important to life. So we're going to add his nose next. And his nose is going to be kind of a soft V shape. And neat little thing with Simba, if you draw a very light guideline straight down from the inside edge of his eye, just go all the way to that very lowest guideline. That's going to help to set up a lot of his features on his face. And same thing over here on this side. Just bring it straight on down again, nice and light. So at that little teeny guideline there toward the bottom of the circle, from right where that line we just drew meets this one here, we're going to draw a curved letter V shape. So that's going to be the bottom of his nose. The top of his snout here is going to connect right back to where our tear duct and our mask shape meet. So we'll put a nice little curve, bringing them right back together. Now for the shape of his nose itself, we're going to draw the shape of a boomerang. Now hopefully everybody knows what a boomerang looks like. If not, don't worry about it. It'll come back to you. We're going to curve up to our guideline, bring it down a little bit below, maybe a little more than halfway between the bottom of his nose and this line here, and we'll swing it back up. So there's the basic shape for his nose. Next, we're going to add his jaw. So we're going to draw a letter U. Nice stretched out letter U here at the very, very bottom guideline. Between those two lines we drop down from his eyes. Nice curved shape right here at the bottom. Give him that nice powerful chin. Well, it'll be a big powerful chin when he gets older. And we're going to connect it to his dimples. So let's go ahead and draw some dimples here. Right under the eye, you go straight down, just a little bit below the line we used for the top of his nose. Going to put a little curve. One here, you can just drop straight down and put another one on this side. So from the center of our dimple to our chin, I'm just going to draw a nice straight line. So that's going to give us the basic setup for his chin. And the last major thing we need to add before we go in and put in the details and start to darken him up are his ears, because ears are very, very important, especially to lions. Lions hear incredibly well. And speaking of hearing incredibly well, did you know you can hear a lion's roar from about 6 miles away? That's right, that loud roaring noise can be heard for up to 6 miles across the savannah. So to figure out where his ears are going to go, remember that very first guideline we used right above his eye? Well, that's exactly the size of his ear. So if you want, you can use your pencil kind of like a little ruler there. Measure that line to the center of the circle, and then just slide it over. And put a little mark there. That will tell you exactly where the edge of his ear is going to go. Do the same thing for the other side. Just go ahead and slide it over. Ear is going to wind up somewhere around there. Now the shape of his ear is the shape of the handle of a coffee mug. Everybody like coffee? All right, good. If not, well, sorry, can't help you with that. But we're going to start here between the top of our mask and that very tippy top guideline, right here along the edge of our circle. We're going to draw that coffee mug handle as it swings out, gentle S shape to the top guideline, bring it out to the dot we just drew, and then swing it back around to that very bottom guideline that sticks out of the circle. Get that nice coffee mug handle shape. Same thing on the other side. Give us those nice big ears. So there you go. There's our basic setup for Simba. Now we can start to go in and add the details, the little things that are really going to make him into Simba. So I'm going to start by going back and finishing up his eyes. Inside of each eye is a pupil. And Simba has these really nice big pupils. They're pretty much the exact same shape as the eye, just smaller. So we'll make them nice and big. Leave a very small ring. That's his iris, the colored part of his eye. We're going to give him these nice big pupils. Because most mammals and birds, when they're young, have really big eyes because it just makes everything look more adorable. And it makes the parents want to take care of them. So nice big pupils in each eye. top of his pupil, I'm going to add another little teeny tiny circle. That'll be a little reflection of light after we shade in the pupil. That'll help it to stand out and add a nice little lifelike glimmer to his eye. So once we put that in, we can go ahead and shade him in. Shade in his pupil around that little glimmer of light. Darken that in. See, it really makes those eyes pop. We do the same thing over here on this side. Nice. Dark at the top, and that'll fade it out a little bit toward the bottom. We can also go around the iris and darken that in as well. Now, remember that old water slide shape we drew on the inside of his eye? And that's going to be his tear duct. So we can darken that in. I'm also going to add another little curve that's going to meet the bottom of his eye there and shade that in nice and dark as well. Now, around his iris, we're actually going to draw the whites of his eye. So we're going to draw a nice oval, kind of starting right here at the edge of our guideline. I'm just going to add a nice curve that connects to the bottom of his eye. And swing it around over to the other side. There's the white of his eye. Not very much of it, because those big pupils inside just make him look that much more adorable. And same thing over here. Above the white of his eye, we'll give him an eyelid. Nice thick eyelid, helps to protect his eyes from debris flying across the savanna. So I'm going to thicken up that top curve there and shade it in. Nice thick eyelid. And we'll do the same on this side. Now, to finish up that mask, we'll darken it in, and at the very, very top, we're going to add his eyebrow. So kind of like we did with the eyelid, I'm going to thicken it up. I'm also going to add a couple little strands of fur sticking off of there. Because, you know, he is furry, he is a mammal. Do the same thing over here. And again, if those eyebrows at the top are not exactly the same, great. Have some fun with this expression.
You gotta finish.
Look nice and fuzzy. Now, at the very bottom of his eye, I'm going to add a little curve that connects to the edge of our mask. And this is actually really important to lions. A little curve right there. Because that's going to separate this last curve that goes underneath of his eye. Now this part of his eye is white fur, very light. And what that does is it reflects starlight and the moonlight into his eyes at night. Lions are nocturnal hunters, and so that little patch of white fur makes their eyesight 6 times better than a human's at night. During the day, their eyesight is about as good as ours, but at night, it's 6 times better because of that little patch of fur right there. So that'll take care of his eyes. Next, we'll finish up his nose. And inside of his nose, we're going to add nostrils. His nostrils are important. His nostrils, these nice little teardrop shapes sitting here along the bottom of his nose. One on each side there. And again, we'll just darken it in because not a lot of light is going to go up his nose. Darken in that boomerang as well. And if you want, you can also throw in a very, very light hint of gray across the front of his nose, just to darken it in a little bit and differentiate it from the rest of his face, just really lightly. Their sense of smell is important. That's the main way that they hunt is by scent. When female lions go out and hunt, they always make sure that they are downwind of their prey, so their scent doesn't alert whatever they're trying to chase. So they have a really good sense of smell. They also use glands on the top of their heads and their cheeks, as well as their bottom of their feet and their tails to mark areas the other lions can smell and know whether it's a member of their pride or a different pride that they may want to stay away from. Darken in the sides of his nose there. And I'm going to add a wrinkle or two here at the top. Next, we'll finish up his mouth. And the shape of his mouth is a letter W. It's just really stretched out. So I'm going to start at our dimple. I'm going to curve down toward the circle. I'm going to swing it back up toward the base of his nose, and back down, and finally connect it to the other dimple. So get this nice stretched out W shape. Again, we'll go over that, darken it in. Thicken that up. Now to connect his dimple, we're also going to add another curve, bringing it right back where his nose and his eye patch meet. Kind of looks almost like a little seat laying back. It's a nice little curved line on each side there. To finish up the bottom part of his face, I'm going to darken in the sides of his chin as it comes on down here. And at the very bottom, just like we did with the eyebrows, I'm going to add a few little strands of fur, just to show that he is fuzzy and fluffy. Darken it in at the bottom there. Now to finish up the bottom half of his head, we're going to add these cute little chubby cheeks that are going to start right about where his ear is. They're simply going to be an S shape that swings out and follows the curve of your circle all the way down to his chin. Keep it nice and light because just like the chin and the eyebrows, I'm going to add a few little poops of fur on each side there. And same thing over here. Just follow the curve of your circle on down. And add in some fur. So there's the bottom half of his head. We'll finish up his ears and we're pretty much done. To finish the ear, we're going to add a little fold to it, which looks a lot like an upside down question mark. It starts right here close to the eye at the edge of our circle. Nice little curve as we swing on up. Do the same thing over here. It's a question mark kind of shape. Darken in the top of his ears as well. Around the edge of his ear, again, we're going to add some fur. Darken it in as we go around. Inside of the ear, we're just going to draw that same shape a little smaller, and again, furry. And then if you take the side of your pencil, you can shade in that outer ring. Darken that in there. Use the side of your pencil, it makes it a lot easier, especially for that big open space. And guess what? We're going to do the same thing on the other side. There are his ears. The last thing we need to do, we are so close. Fur here at the top of his head. Now, as a male lion, eventually he's going to grow a mane, but he's still young, so he doesn't have one yet. It's starting to come on in, but not all the way. And that mane helps to show their dominance. The older and the more dominant a male lion is, the darker his mane is going to get. Once we have that fur at the top of his head, all we have to do is darken in the edge of our circle around it, and there you go. There's Simba. Now, once you're finished, oh, almost forgot one little line here between the bottom of his nose and the top of his mouth. Just darken in your guideline there. Really easy. But once you're finished, take a look over on that wall there to your right-hand side. See the pictures of Walt and some deer, Frank and a dog, and Ollie and Mary Blair and Retta Scott, who was actually the first female animator. They did exactly what you just did right now. You drew from live animal inspiration. So you are now just like a real Disney animator. So give yourselves a nice big round of applause. Most important thing you want to do, make sure you sign your name on there somewhere at the top, the bottom, the right, or the left, wherever you've got a little bit of room for it. But that's it. That's a very quick lesson on how to draw Simba from Disney's classic, The Lion King. So we hope you guys had a really good time here this morning, and come back and see us again. We'll be drawing different characters throughout the day. Take your pencils with you. There's a bin as you walk on out. You can drop them off there on your way, and get some rubber bands to roll up your drawings. So we hope you guys had fun. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your adventure here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Bye-bye, everybody.